Joining me now is Negar Mortazavi, an Iranian-American journalist and analyst. She's also host of the Iran podcast. Negar, thanks so much for joining us on this. We appreciate it. I kind of just want to get your thoughts, first and foremost, about what you're seeing happen in Iran. What do you think is the end game here?
Well, Yasmin, is incredible. As you were saying, it's essentially a feminist movement or a revolution led by many women, but also shoulder to shoulder with men. And it's a continuation of 4 decades of resistance against the state mandatory hijab and the enforcement of the mandatory hijab by the morality police that has become so violent that essentially led to the death of this young woman in police custody. So it's incredible. Women took to the streets essentially asking for their rights and their dignity, this basic right to dress as they wish. And what's incredible, we're also seeing some religious Iranians, some religious scholars joining in the calls to abolish the morality police, saying this is un-Islamic, this is against their belief, and that this dress code, the Islamic dress code, shouldn't be forced on women with such violence.
Here's the thing, though, as you and I both well know, oftentimes in an authoritarian regime like Iran's, they're able to crack down on protests as they have continued to until there is so much fear in the people of Iran. They go back to their homes and are no longer able to pour into the streets because they're just scared, right? Scared for their lives. The risks they're taking every single day to even be out there is incredible in and of itself. Do you see that happening again here? Or do you feel like the momentum is there, the people are there for this to continue and to make real change happen?
Well, Yasmin, we're seeing a lot of bravery, as you said, a lot of courage, essentially people risking their lives, women risking their lives, staying on the streets. And so far, they've stayed on the street. The protests have spread to dozens of cities across Iran, even some religious cities like Qom, Mashhad. But also there is a lot of violence on the part of the security forces, a crackdown. And we've seen in the past with protests in 2019, before that 2009, that the state is willing and capable of committing this kind of violence, as you said, to crack down on protests. But the grievances remain. So this is layers and layers of anger, of issues that need to be addressed, political, economic, and now social and eventually cultural. This is their way of life that's being dictated. So I'm hoping that this would be a turning point or a wake-up call to the authorities to change this violent practice, the morality police. That's essentially a form of harassment against women in the public.
So if you think back to the Islamic Revolution back in 1979, not to take a little bit of a history lesson for folks that are watching us, right? One of the reasons why that was successful, one of the very small reasons, was there was a leader, right? There was someone in which those people had to look up to, right? And at the time, it was Ayatollah Khomeini. If you think to now, if we're looking at this moment, right, is there a leader for this movement? And is that important for this movement to continue to grow?
Well, unfortunately, you can't really pinpoint one leader in the Iranian opposition. There are different groups in the diaspora. There are groups in the country who are within the opposition, different factions of the political structure. In 2009, the 2 leaders of the opposition were taken to house arrest. They've been under house arrest for years. So the state has also tried to limit leaders from growing and from becoming popular, especially in the country where they can be more effective. We can point to opposition figures, prominent figures outside the country. There's a few of them in the US, in Europe. But as far as one leader, like the way you're mentioning, a comparison to the 1979 and one movement under one person, we're not really so much of that. But the movement, the women's rights movement, have been very strong and vibrant. And women have been pushing over the past 40 years the limits of how the state wants them to dress and how they're actually dressing. Look at photos from the 1980s in public in Iran compared to the 90s, and then compare it to today. Women have made slow progress, and I'm just hoping that this outpouring of anger will bring them one step further.
So here's the thing. Raisi has now said, OK, we're going to launch this investigation. Nobody actually believes this is going to be a valid investigation. It's as if the Saudi kingdom at one point saying they were launching the investigation into the murder and killing of Jamal Khashoggi. We all knew what that actually meant, right? The same feasibly could be said about what Raisi is saying here, right? You juxtapose that also to the experience that CNN's Christiane Amanpour laid out for people just a couple of days ago, in which she was supposed to interview Raisi here in the United States, was asked to wear a headscarf during this interview. For journalists, that is not part of the course. You are not required to wear a headscarf here in the United States. If it was in Iran, it would obviously be different. What do we know about Raisi and his intentions here, Negar?
Well, Yasmin, we know Raisi comes from a conservative and hardline background, but this also shows a complete tone deafness to the situation. If that really was the reason that he wanted Christian to cover with a hijab last minute, and that was the real reason that he canceled the interview, this is just tone deafness. There's protests happening over this very issue, a woman essentially dying or being killed in police custody because of the way she was dressed. And then this is being imposed on a journalist here in the U.S., which also breaks from past precedents of the very Iranian presidents that came before him. We have photos of previous presidents doing interviews with the same reporter, Christian Amanpour, without a hijab in the U.S. So this is just unprecedented also in Iranian political history as well.